So hi everyone, welcome. This is The Paradox of Change, a podcast dedicated to mental health and well-being, founded by 3 practitioners, and I've got them all in one room.
Finally!
So Lottie, tell me a little bit about yourself for those that may not have had much exposure to us before.
Okay, hi, my name is Lottie Passell-Syms and I am a sex and relationship therapist, and I work predominantly with couples and some individuals, and the Paradox of Change is so part of how I want to work and how I can get the message out there about mental health.
Good.
That's me.
Hey!
Here comes trouble.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm Fee Scliffe. I am a mindset and business coach to therapists and counsellors, and I specialise in mindset, money and marketing. So that's my bag, that's my niche, that's what I focus on when I work with my clients.
Cool. And for levelling the playing field, I'm a client-centred therapist, classically trained client-centred. And it was a couple of years ago that we decided to start this podcast with this diverse bunch of lovely individuals. And I think for me, and certainly moving forward to 2025, today was an opportunity to talk about not just when we started the podcast, but 2024 specifically, because I think we've all been on our various personal journeys. We've recorded as many shows that we can. And where we are today is a little bit older, a little bit wiser, a few more shows under our belts. And we've got some ideas for 2025. And I wanted to make this a bit of an open floor, talk about what happened in 2024. So who wants to kick off? How's actually... Fee, how's your year been?
Oh, God.
Because you've diversified a lot this year and a lot of things have changed, and I like the aspirations and inspiration that you could share, because your world's changed dramatically to where it was a year or so ago.
Yes, I think we should actually change my name. So much has changed. I'm not the same person I was in January 2024 to December 2024. A lot of massive changes. I think there's so many big ones. One that stands out for me is quitting my job of 14 years in recruitment to go hard and fast in my business as a coach. And obviously my training to be a counsellor as well on the side. It's just...
What's your modality?
So I'm psychodynamic with person-centred.
My God, that could be a whole show on its own, because I don't know how that works.
Oh, it works.
There you go.
Actually, I don't know how it works, but it just does.
Trust in the process.
I trust the process totally, yes. So it's been I actually went to a Christmas, it's actually called a Bismas, so a Christmas event for female business owners who... It was an event organised basically to celebrate the fact that we don't get to celebrate Christmas as business owners. We're not in a company. So we got together and we had to write on a card the word that represented 2024 for us. And my words were fucking ballsy. Because this year has required so much courage to make the changes, to make the leaps, to make the really, really scary decisions that I have been putting off for many, many years, and they've all come at once, like buses. So
careful what you wish for.
Be really careful what you wish for. Be really mindful, because, luckily I'm quite intentional with what I wish for, but not always. And this year I was wishing to leave my job for a long, long time, and it finally happened.
So was that the driver, or just one of the...
It was
things?
one of the drivers for the change. There was lots of other factors that came into it, but essentially I didn't realise it completely at the time, but I was quietly quitting, which I hate to admit. I was doing the bare minimum. I wasn't able to focus. I was using plenty of other things to distract me just to keep my mind occupied, because I was so bored. When you've done the same thing for such a long time, it becomes really monotonous, and I'd stayed beyond my point of growth. And if I'm not growing, I don't feel like I'm going anywhere, and I need change. I need something to stimulate me, to keep me going out of my comfort zone, and that had all completely disappeared. And so my saying at the time when I was handing in my notice was, I have been begging for change and nothing has changed, so I need to be the change. So I was.
So you're in recruitment, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get into that? What was the instigator for you to say, is this career, this is what I'm interested in, this is what I'm going to go into 100%?
What, recruitment or my business?
No, your new business, therapy and coach.
The absolute deciding factor for me being able to start this process with having my own business, bearing in mind I've always been, not now, but I had always been very employee mentality, doing a really, really good job for someone else, helping someone else to build their business, to build their dream.
And getting what back?
Getting a salary, getting pay rises, moving up the ladder. And at the time, that was enough for me. I was happy to be that person because I didn't see a way forward for me having my own business. But I've had a lot of very entrepreneurial, inspiring people around me that have helped me to have the mindset of a business owner without even having a business. So I already had, I think, the skill set in terms of my mindset. What was missing was, what the hell am I going to do? So it all started when I started to say yes to things. I stopped saying no to things. Anytime someone said, do you want to do this training? Do you think this might be a good idea? Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? When I was, asking friends and family about what my next steps might be, and I just kept saying no until one day I thought, I'm just going to start saying yes. But the unfortunate thing about how my brain works is when I start to say yes, I don't say no anymore.
It's addicting.
I'm very like no or yes. There's no and yes. So unfortunately, I said yes to bloody everything, and I have not stopped for the last 2 years. Just embracing every opportunity, which has been amazing. Has got me into trouble at times, but I guess
you're always going to get resistance along the way, aren't you? You're not going to get everything right.
No, I've learnt that the hard way, but I'd rather learn it full stop than not learn it at all.
So you decided at some point to leave the job and go about your new business. What was that transition like?
Terrifying. Because 2 days before I was due to leave, so I'd worked my notice period, 2 days before I was due to leave, the company I had been working for on a self-employed basis for 18 months, so that's where I got all of my amazing coaching experience from, went into liquidation. So I was just about to leave. I had, a big chunk of money that was going to be coming to me just suddenly evaporate overnight. And so was my, and it was a real identity crisis. It wasn't even just about the money. I was like, oh my God, without this company, I'm not a coach anymore. Because those are the only coaching clients I had at the time. So I really had to, in a way, it was a blessing because it made me step up and stop relying, again, the employee mentality, stop relying on other businesses to feed me my clients. I needed to step into my own business to start to get my own clients that I could say I got that client. So it was actually a blessing.
X amounts of months later. Tell us about what you're doing now. What's keeping you busy and what's your plans for 2025?
So at the moment, my focus has been on really sharpening my processes. So getting things automated, recording things and being able to streamline the things that I'm doing kind of repetitively when it comes to inducting clients, talking and teaching clients about things, and actually making that a uniform process because my time is so valuable. I actually, just a little side note, and just about how I value my time now, I went to a business expo in London, was helping out a friend, was working on a stand, and I had a man come up to me, and I didn't realise it at the time, who got my business card because we were talking all things business, and he said to me, I'd love to meet up with you in person. And I said, no. we will only meet on Zoom because I need to establish if there is something worth meeting in person for, because I don't know what you do. I don't know how we could collaborate. Anyway, he then said, he insisted and said, no, I think we should still meet up in person. I think it would be good. And I was like, unless you pay me, I'm not meeting you in person. I'm very busy and I really value my time. He was like, wow, I can see that. You really do. I realised later with a text from him saying, I want to spend some quality time with you, that he wasn't after my business skills.
That's why he was so persuasive.
Indeed, yes. So need to be more mindful about just... Yeah, my business cards.
Think about who's going to be listening and watching. Mm-hmm. What's your demographic? Who are your clients?
Therapists and counsellors are my demographic. I feel like I come at this from a really unique angle in that I have been working for quite a long time now with only therapists to expand their business, to expand their and diversify their income streams. And I'm training to be a therapist myself, so I get the difficulties when it comes to things like mindset, money and marketing. Therapists cannot just market themselves like any other business. There is ethical frameworks to consider. There's confidentiality to consider. There is more for a therapist in terms of how much of their personal life they put out into the world. I get that. Perhaps another business coach who doesn't work with therapists specifically might not completely understand the intricacies that come along with being a therapist in business. And the other reason I think I'm uniquely positioned with therapists is that the most common theme I see with therapists is that they don't see themselves as business owners.
They see them almost like sole traders.
The thing I say is from this moment of meeting me, you are no longer self-employed. You are self-employed to the taxman and the taxman only, if you're, of course, a sole trader. But when we work together, you're either an entrepreneur or you're a business owner. That's how you describe yourself to me, to others, to networking events, wherever you go. That's how you describe yourself. Because when you are a helper helping people, that's all you really want to do, and you're really good at it. When they're in the room, when they're counselling, they're amazing at it. But being able to share and talk about how good they are is where the gap is, and that's the bit that I come in to try and close that gap. So it's really important that we start to change the language that we use when it comes to how you describe what you do.
How might a client that you've worked with, who's a therapist, what are the things they might benefit from working with you?
So I'm going by the last few clients that I've worked with, and I would say the biggest shifts have been in their mindset. And once their mindset has shifted, their business has completely shifted. And that's why I always start with mindset work first, because without the mindset work, there isn't the foundation to then be able to build on the other stuff.
Describe the mindset of a therapist that might not have seen you first, as in what would you consider them being normal attitude to their work?
Yeah, really great question. So a therapist, before they've started working with me, typically comes to me with a lack of confidence, not in their work. Let's just make that really clear. Not in their work per se, but definitely in putting themselves out there. So fear of being seen, fear of success, how that might change them if they do become successful, how they might be viewed by others, fear of failure. Putting themselves out there and it going wrong, and everybody being able to see that they've tried and they failed. But again, it's about changing the language. There is no such thing as failure. There is only learnings. That's one thing that we really embed. Also, I think it's such an underestimated space, coaching, because as a coach, I'm literally someone's cheerleader. I'm in their back pocket that whole time that we work together, because we don't just do one-on-one coaching calls. We actually have in between WhatsApp support, which is voice notes and messages. So anytime they're catching that thought, they're having that feeling of, I'm not having a great day, I've just seen this client, it hasn't gone that well, and whatever it may be for them. And hindsight's a beautiful thing, and you can reflect back and think to yourself, I should have done that differently, and that's what I do next time. But if you can catch the thought as soon as it happens, there's so much power in that, because you're not strengthening the neural pathway.
Do you think some counsellors might feel guilty about being successful?
There's a part of guilt, yeah. There's definitely
And I don't mean in the client work, because there's huge value in the work we do, but almost there's a bitter taste I feel sometimes people struggle with by the deemed success of a business. It's not the reason why I'm doing. Oh, you're only doing it for the money. It kind of the thing that was coming up for me then.
The reason, mindset, money and marketing. Money is a huge topic. There is so much anguish, weight, heaviness, limiting beliefs, all sorts of things attached to money that are keeping my clients or the therapists stuck in the current income bracket that they are in. My saying is, your business will never surpass your mindset.
Just as you were saying that, I've realised that's what you've done. If you think about your early days as a therapist, working at Eastleigh Youth, then moving into other realms, you're not just a therapist now, are you?
No.
Is it worth describing what you do above and beyond just being a sex therapist?
It's niche. Before I start on my story, I just want to say that I know your work, Fee, and the journey that you've had and where you sort of let go of your job and come to where you are. Actually listening to you and watching you is just absolutely fascinating. So it just is. Just the way you work is just incredible, because you are taking, and don't forget, you're talking to a therapist here, and you're absolutely right. I have always felt like I needed to be humble and quiet and stable, and, you know, don't toot your horn, because actually it'd be seen as arrogant. So there is a part of the counselling process that gives you the opportunity to stay small. And that's why I love what you do, because the coaching gives you the opportunity to say, it's okay to actually say, I've got a win. I'm going to celebrate that win. Whereas I feel like in the coaching world, that seems quite often that will be acknowledged. But in the counselling world, there's something about staying small. And for me, I guess I do see myself as quite a visionary, because I've gone from running a counselling service for 25 years to then becoming a therapist. And my niche is sex and intimacy, helping couples navigate that really difficult thing to talk about in the first place, and giving them an opportunity not just to have closeness and commitment and variety and novelty and difference, but get them to realise that actually there's more things than just sex. That connectivity that I love to talk about and share with them about what they could do differently. I was talking to a couple the other day, and we were talking about foreplay, and I was saying, what sort of foreplay do you have? Because it's gone a bit stale. They're going, never even thought about changing it. Didn't even think about that. It was actually, we were thinking about the sex wasn't very good. But it's the foreplay, start off with that and see where we get to. So when you're talking, I can really hear where I've come from, because I haven't been in that social media aspect until now. I'm doing lives now, which I would have never even thought of doing, putting myself out there, being able to, once a month sitting there talking about something that I'm interested in, and then putting it on the Facebook page and couples listening to it. I get my couples coming and go, we heard your live the other night and it was really good, and actually what was happening to us was definitely what you were talking about, and we needed that theory behind it to get us to connect with each other again. So I guess my word is my awareness of myself coming into my own and keeping up with everything, but also confidence, having the confidence to put myself out there. You talk about courage. I guess mine was confidence to be able to be seen, because I know what I do. I absolutely adore what I do, helping people navigate the love that they do have for each other. When that goes awry, everything seems to, for me, communication and intimacy just walk out the door together, and they can't even talk to each other in a normal way. But practicality-wise, they've got the cleanest house. They've got the bins put out, because that's safe. And what we're trying to do is actually talk about the things that seem quite scary. And I feel like that's where I come in. Let's have a conversation about the difficult stuff.
And get this right, you're now doing seminars, the Playbook.
Mm-hmm. Which I run with Fee.
So this is you two bridging that gap,
providing.
Remind me the qualification.
It's an advanced specialist by the NCPS. So the reason why the Playbook come about is because I do believe that we need really robust, solid therapists to hold couples. And we've combined the coaching and the counselling together to give us a combination of actually the marketing side, the business side, all of that Fee's been talking about, but also the counselling side to be able to sit with a couple who are in crisis and being able to hold that space for them really tightly for a while until they start to find their wings and they let you go.
So for anyone that doesn't know, the Playbook is the comprehensive guide to working with couples. Yep. We're running another in-person course in Hampshire in March for 4 months.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, once
Can't
a month
wait.
for 4 months. And it's like no other course.
Yeah.
Because... well, it's got us for starters.
Even if I do say so myself.
It's just, I have this vision of making anything training related or CPD related really engaging and fun and interactive, because I don't have the brain space for boring. I can't do it. I can't sit through something interesting and have someone make it boring for me. And because I have that mindset with myself, my thing is how can I make every single possible bit of juicy information even juicier, so that it sticks.
Yeah.
Because, I think that's really important. So I think, the coaching element of bringing, like, how do you become a couples counsellor on the practical side? You know, you might be full with individuals. How do you then transition your business to a different business model, because it's slightly different? So we bring that into it, as well as obviously being able to hold the couple. And
the uniqueness of it for me is the coaching and the counselling, because actually they don't fit. When we're actually doing it, do you remember when we were writing it, we were like, how does this fit? And none of it fits, but it does.
It just does, It's
so
weird.
We do believe in the process, and
we trust the process.
And I get. We do.
You just took my line again. I was going to say, I know this is cliche, but trust in the process.
And also, it's taken on board the feedback that we've had.
Oh, 100%.
One of the, that always sticks with me is life changing. The people that are talking to us about the course that we've just finished in June, life changing. That's huge as a practitioner to hear, and the sincerity and the feedback we got was just out of this world.
It sounds like it's more than just what they can learn for their business and their professional careers. It's helped them see things differently.
Well, I think that was one of the markers, wasn't it, that people actually were going home and really thinking about what relationship they were in and how they can enhance it and see where they were. And that sometimes puts people off doing couple therapy with couples. And actually what we've got to do is actually still, if those things are coming up for you in your own relationship, they're coming up for you, whether you become a couples therapist or not, they are there. But the lovely thing about it is the awareness you can get from the course gives you the opportunity to go home and go, right, okay, I've got all these tools, let's do this together. And if you're both willing to do that, then there can be change. So,
but even when there's not, I'm just thinking about, situations where there might be that there isn't that opportunity for change at home. Just having that awareness, I think automatically has an impact for the positive on the person. And I think whether they go home and start to try and implement all the tools or not is up to them. But just them changing equates to more positive change.
Well, we did a reunion. They asked for a reunion, which was incredible, really.
Let's not make any assumptions. People know what we're talking about. This is the first of the playbooks you did this year.
Yes, the playbook was the first time we ran it in person this year. It was such a success. Actually, on that note, tomorrow, Lottie and I are going to a spa day thanks to the students of the Playbook. They loved what we did so much that they got us a gift card for spa breaks. And so we're taking full advantage.
Where's my ticket? Sorry, was I left out?
Yeah, you're right.
No, don't worry. Sorry, I can't find.
And that's huge.
Yeah, and then they requested a reunion. So we did a one-day workshop dedicated to refreshing their memory on certain activities and tasks that we did.
Did that help them?
Oh, absolutely.
It was fantastic, wasn't it?
It was a really fun day.
It's a fairly intensive thing, isn't it? You do it, I don't know how many weekly sessions there are, but it's weekly, 6 sessions?
No, monthly. It was 8 days.
2 days
once
per
a month.
Yeah. For 4 months, so 8-day training.
So you can be forgiven, couldn't you, for forgetting some of what you've learned in the time?
Yeah, there was a lot that we gave them, and they wanted the opportunity to come back and have a little sort of like top up, and also the group bonded. We've got a WhatsApp group, and they're still sharing resources, talking to each other. It's not ended.
Yeah, sharing wins, referrals.
Well, it has a direct. It connects directly to POC, because I've had a podcast session with Al or Ali, and another one of your meetings, Rob, I spoke to as well. So he came onto the show. So there is this symbiotic relationship thing. Careful what you wish for, because it happens.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I think that is our ethos, isn't it? We were talking the other day, weren't we, about being able to share resources, being able to instead of holding on to everything and thinking, I don't want to be like that. We love I can't put it into words, but
I've got it in the handbook, actually, the Playbook handbook. Yours
is it in your pocket?
No. Is give to give.
Give to give, thank you,
And
Fee,
my saying for the Playbook is courage over comfort.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of a podcast that we did with one of my clients, Rob, a different one, and he was talking about coming onto the podcast, and it was the give.
Yeah, it was. I remember that. Yeah. And they were astounded that we gave so much.
Well, I think by nature both of us are kind of over-sharers, over-deliverers.
I think so,
No such thing.
Yeah, but also we like to actually give an experience. So we weren't in a village hall. No offence to village halls, by the way, but we were in a really
other village halls do exist,
are available. But we were in a lovely hotel. We fed everybody.
Oh, the food was amazing.
That's really important to Fee.
Yes.
And it's a whole experience. It's not just the playbook itself. It's actually the whole experience. So I can't wait till March. I'm so looking forward to it.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I call these my red carpet moments.
Yeah, I
so
love that.
A chance to get out from behind my desk and my screen and get interacting with people and delivering and showing up and getting totally dressed up. I get really decked out, don't I?
Can I just say, actually, she walks in the room like she's on a red carpet.
I really do.
And I'm there with a camera, I guess.
I do, yeah. I'm like, camera, lights, camera, action, please.
She does, yeah.
For the content.
Yeah.
Because I don't get out. So these are my red carpet moments. And I really... I have such a low when I finish a red carpet moment, because I'm like, oh my God, I've got to go back to all these emails. But yeah, so I'm going to very much enjoy the red carpet moments in March, for sure.
I've got a question for both of you. Outstanding guest that we have either met or worked with on the POC this year, and I'm going to go, actually, you can fight amongst yourselves.
Wait, what's the question?
Best guest.
Oh, best guest. Oh, right, sorry guest.
Oh, hang on a minute. I'm not sure I want to answer this, because I just think anybody that came on to the podcast is quite courage.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to come on a podcast.
There was something about that. I guess if I had to answer it.
Well, actually, okay, no, it's a really good point, because we can't favour.
We can't be guestist.
But that's a new one to write. Hang on, Fee says can't be guestist. I'm actually writing that down, by the way, guestist. Yeah. The reason why I ask is we are cultivating relationships. We are meeting people. I said, careful what you wish for. I've met some amazing people, and I think they're going to be individuals within our group that are either going to come back every now and then, or it's going to evolve into something different, bigger, better, broader. So for that reason, I was thinking, I think I have an idea, but...
Well, rather than talking about the people that have already taken that leap, been really courageous and come on the podcast, shared their stories and a bit about themselves, I would like to put out there the type of guest I would love to see on the podcast moving forward. We were talking about 2025 and what we're looking for, and we've come up with so many ideas. I'm super excited about 2025 for the POC. But I really get excited with guests that are excited. I feed off of other people's energy. I'm a real people's person. I love it when, if we could, the guest that I think would really suit, certainly with me being the interviewer, would be someone that's really high energy, someone that's really passionate about what they do. Is like brimming at the seams, at like wanting to share what it is they do and how much impact their work has. That's who I want to talk to, and I feel like that high energy is just, I think I wouldn't need a script. I wouldn't need all my questions. It would just be like bam, bam, bam. It would just be one after the other. So if there's anyone out there, high energy, because I also think it's just about having a bit of a laugh as well. I just want to giggle on a podcast.
But also that takes me back to when we spoke about niching. So a lot of therapists get really worried if they're pigeonholed into one thing, but actually that is the key, to be able to niche something and then promote it, and that's your marker, that's your sort of signature. But also I find when I'm talking to other therapists who have niched, they're more excited. Whereas if we've got a whole list of, I'm a trauma therapist, I'm a this therapist, I'm a this, it's very linear.
Where do you start?
Yeah, but I've been speaking to a therapist last night. There was a therapist last night, and because she's niching and really thinking about her way forward in 2025, there was more of an energy to her. It was almost like I found where I need to be.
Yeah,
and that does make such a difference.
Like laser focused almost.
Definitely,
excited about the fact that she can drill down deeper into sort of, I guess, the experience and the background and the psychology and all those great things. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
What about you, Elliot? Because you've been the brains and the brawn behind POC,
absolutely.
and you've had somewhat of a challenging year, and you've still shown up. You still put the podcast together.
Still coughing in the background, desperately trying not to.
Still a little bit coffee in the background. What's going on for you? How's your year been?
The year's been good, and I just wanted to go on. I wanted to carry on your 2025. So you were thinking about excitable, fun guests that you can really get into conversations with. I think I would like to focus on more client-specific interviews, because they are everything that we do. They are the outcome, aren't they? It's listening to their story. You can't make it up. So I would certainly like to be getting to the point where I've had a long enough break with existing clients that we've got that relationship where I can say, I would love you to come on the show and share, maybe not the whole story, because, it's still very raw, or, you've got family to consider or whatever it might be, but to actually have that conversation around why did you come to us? What was the key takeaways, and where are you now? I think could be really beneficial.
I love that.
Because we're talking about the stereotypes, aren't we? It's an ideal opportunity to learn from the horse's mouth. Not from what we say, but from almost the right perspective.
I think that's so lovely.
I've got a confession to make.
Oh, what's that? Oh, hang on.
Do you know what it is?
No, I couldn't guess.
Yeah, you're going to make me say it even if you know, aren't you?
No, not at all.
So I think one of the first episodes we recorded, you really triggered me, because you kept banging on about what the frick counselling is, and I was like, nobody cares, you can Google it, whatever. But since I've become a counsellor in training and actually started to see clients, they're like, what is even counselling? I'm like, oh my gosh, I do actually need to know what this is myself, because people are asking me. So apologies, Elliot.
Honestly, no apology needed, not even necessary. It shouldn't even come into the equation, but it is cool that you're able to reflect back on that. That's me then. And as much as I might like to get excited about the immense amount of growth that can happen from the dedicated and the dedicated pursuit of growth and taking that journey, that first step, is and can be life-changing. Like you were saying about the people you're working with, that's worth getting excited about. And counselling is, because of the modalities, because the way people work so differently, it's very personal, it's very unique, but it's not what people think.
Yeah, I get that now. I totally get it. So I'm less triggered.
And I guess that your question before was who do we want to put in the top spot for the people that come on here? Not going to mention any names, but actually if clients do come on to the podcast and talk about their experience in counselling with us or with other therapists, I just think it's really brave. I want to encourage that, because we are definitely going to go towards doing feet on the street again, so going into some different locations and talking to people, inspiring people to talk, which is what the podcast is about mental health, giving them the opportunity to speak about their story with us. So that's something for me. I'm really looking forward to that in 2025, going out there and being the interviewer, not nodding my head so much like I did last time, and really just enjoying being with the people. And we didn't have to harass people, which we didn't anyway, but people couldn't wait to... We're not
I think that was one of my takeaways, actually, just how you put a microphone in front of someone's face, they want to talk. Going back to what you were saying earlier about what's happened for me, key takeaway: I wouldn't wish anyone ill health. Condition that I've got, which has been a tough one, nearly 6 months out of POC, dedicated work, and just boiling myself down to the bare minimum of being a dad and being employed, looking after my kids and my health. I don't think I will. Anyone that's got a condition that debilitates them, I was probably a little less sympathetic until now. So key takeaways from 2024, health has to be number one. That's above anything and everything else. I think from the podcast perspective, we always get freaking technical issues. I'm going to try and streamline that the best way that I can. Well, we talked earlier and I said I'm going to try and... We've got to share more. Sharing is caring, all that kind of thing. But maybe having a few people involved that can help a little bit more with marketing, maybe help in the studio, having someone be a producer that could be sat behind a curtain there, making sure everything's still working so I don't have to try and have everything automated.
Yeah.
Gives me an opportunity to be a more authentic interviewer or, like you said, don't want it scripted. I want a juicy conversation. Yeah. It's really hard when you've got one eye over there going, shit, that camera's gone off.
Yeah.
which just happened. So, but moving 2025, going over the same thing I said earlier, more interviews with existing clients, maybe even your own clients with you.
Yeah.
I think they would be really beneficial.
I wonder if one of my couples would come and talk on the podcast.
We could get
find out.
Yeah, we could get a couch here so they can sit together.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah. Here's one that didn't work.
We'll be a few sessions in by then, hopefully. Yeah. But that would be really lovely, wouldn't it? So giving people the opportunity to see that actually from rupture there is repair.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love that. I can ask them.
Let's do that.
There's a lot to look forward to. I'm really excited about 2025.
We're talking about some of the interviews that we've done. One of my other key takeaways, and I only just really sort of thought about it, is realising that when you interview an existing counsellor, you realise that they are just completely normal human beings with all the same problems, all the same challenges, all the experiences that we all get. It doesn't make them perfect. It doesn't make them better than you, but it does bring kind of that humanity into the fold when you realise they're just good human beings like ourselves. And
bad. Sorry, I was just going to say that because of the work that I do on the mindset side of things. We're both good and bad. So it's not even... I wouldn't say this topic triggers me because it sounds like I'm triggered by everything.
We've got it on tape, so don't worry.
Damn.
Tape? Oh my God, how old am I?
That's just triggered me.
Yeah. You've got to have buttons to be triggered.
Good comeback.
But yeah, the whole idea that therapists are a little bit holier than thou, and that they've got more of the skill set, so they should be a certain way and have their shit together, I think is just absolute baloney. And I really,
it is bullshit.
Yeah, I can't stand that. I think that comes towards therapists, but I also think therapists hold that too. I don't think we sling it back enough. That we are human.
We are 100% aligned. The guys that I look after now, what they meet is another guy that is I'm either going to mirror some of that really positive energy, and I'm going to hold that. That's important. But if someone hasn't got that energy, they're still going to get energetic me. You're going to get the authentic version of me, whether you like it or not. Because what we're doing is we're mirroring what's going on out there in the sanctity of these four walls. And I think that is, certainly from a masculine role, I think that's really helping my work. But I'm allowed to get it wrong. I'm allowed to fuck up. I'm allowed to say the wrong words. I'm allowed to get myself fumbled. You know, all of those things are okay to be completely authentic and go, actually, do you know what was wrong there? And explain myself away. I'm not the expert of them. And never have been and would never want to be. What does that say about me? If I thought that, obviously. I don't. No, I don't. Well, that was triggering.
Just let everybody know I'm not triggered.
I think we've got some work to do.
We really do.
I love that.
Okay.
My therapist.
All right, okay, so
Yeah.
I've got some key takeaways. I was making notes. I wasn't being rude, but I'm taking
Spit
notes.
them out.
Okay, so the notes were, so key takeaways, I thought some things you said were get around people that inspire you. And that does mean that you have to let go of the people that don't. Or you need to create distance.
Or space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really hard when you're comfortable with familiar and old.
Elliot, you little coach, you.
Hey?
Bit coachy. Yeah.
This podcast thing's working, isn't it? And the other one is money is healthy. We've got to have a healthy attitude towards money. You mentioned it earlier, you mentioned it again tonight, and I think that's actually something that therapists, people, shouldn't be ashamed or embarrassed or shy about saying, I value money. And the one thing in my day job that I think has really helped me is knowing that some of these big organisations, if you speak to our US counterparts, if we win big, they celebrate it. They love it.
I love
You know,
that.
we did a few $100,000, this month, and they're like, they celebrate it because they know the effort and the work. But it makes me more capable and competent, so they trust that.
Yeah, don't stay small.
Yeah. But we don't really do that in the UK.
We
So-
do in my world.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Fee does.
We're
Get in
doing
touch.
American cheerleader over here.
Oh, predictive text. This has really
no.
screwed me over.
Sad.
I need my glasses. Oh, that's another thing that I've learned this year. I've now bought glasses, but I don't wear them. You said you got a humble and quiet arrogance.
No, you stay humble and quiet, and you feel like if you actually show your wins, you're arrogant.
There you go.
I'm talking about therapy.
Yeah.
You were
Not
talking
all.
about yourself.
I was
think,
talking about
and-
myself,
yeah.
but I do know other therapists who say the same, and they stay small, and actually taking a risk, showing up, how you show up is really important.
Another one of your key takeaways being embracing media, embracing the
Totally.
shows, embracing the business side of it, which
Yeah.
you've actually demonstrated, haven't you? That's effectively what you've done. And I think together we've done that with this podcast. It's early days, but we've got a show.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
And when I do my lives, it's really important to go, I don't think that went as well as it usually does, okay? But actually, I don't stay with that thought. I reflect on what I will do next time instead of staying with imposter syndrome or I should have been better or should. Because it's not productive. It doesn't take me anywhere because the show's done, it's recorded, it's going to be put out. So it's a pointless exercise.
And you're talking about leaning on authenticity.
Yeah, being real. Yeah.
So if we were going to each summarise, I've already told you my word for 2024, which is fucking ballsy. What would your guys' words be?
Oh, stay healthy.
Health is wealth,
because
right?
without that, we can't do any of this. Yeah.
I love that.
I'm just more reflective. I shall think about it.
Shall I do it as credits at the end to be continued?
Yeah.
And on that note, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you on our next episode. Let's just do that again. We'll see you on the next episode shortly. All the best.
Happy New Year, everybody. Merry Christmas. Oh, Fee, before we go,
The hats.
What are the hats?
Should we cut to... I haven't got a hat.
No, but we're going to give you a kiss on the cheek. That's what I was
Oh, are
going to do.
we? Jesus, consent.
You look amazing. So from everyone here at the Paradox of Change, POC as we like to call it, Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, and don't buy a hat like this.
No, definitely not. God, they're massive.
It's kind
Bye,
of
everybody. Have a wonderful time. See ya. Bye.